What if one narrow strip of water could control the fate of empires, decide the outcome of wars, and even bring the global economy to its knees? Every day, hundreds of ships pass through the Suez Canal, carrying billions of dollars worth of goods. But few people know the incredible story behind this man-made waterway, a story filled with ambition, political intrigue, engineering miracles, human suffering, and power struggles that continue to shape our world today. How did a canal carved through the desert become one of the most important strategic locations on Earth? And why does the world panic whenever something goes wrong there? The answers lie in one of history's most fascinating untold stories. Thousands of years, traders searched for a faster route between Europe and Asia. Ships traveling from Europe to India, China, and the Far East had to sail all the way around the southern tip of Africa, a dangerous journey that added thousands of miles and several weeks to every voyage. Ancient Egyptian pharaohs dreamed of connecting the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea, and some even built primitive canals, but these routes eventually disappeared beneath sand and time. The dream remained alive, waiting for someone bold enough to turn it into reality. That person arrived in the 19th century. His name was Ferdinand de Lesseps, a French diplomat who became obsessed with creating a canal through Egypt. At the time, Egypt was ruled by Said Pasha, who granted Lesseps permission to begin one of the most ambitious construction projects ever attempted. Many experts believed the idea was impossible. Engineers argued that the Mediterranean Sea and Red Sea were at different levels and that connecting them would cause catastrophic flooding. Others claimed the harsh desert environment would make construction impossible. Yet Lesseps pressed forward, determined to prove the skeptics wrong. Construction began in 1859, and the reality was far harsher than anyone imagined. Tens of thousands of Egyptian laborers were forced to work under brutal conditions. Armed with little more than shovels and primitive tools, workers dug through scorching desert heat, often without adequate food, water, or medical care. Disease spread rapidly through labor camps, and countless workers lost their lives. The project became a symbol not only of engineering ambition, but also of immense human sacrifice. As years passed, giant mechanical dredgers replaced much of the manual labor, allowing the canal to slowly take shape across the barren landscape. After 10 grueling years of construction, the impossible finally became reality. In 1869, the Suez Canal officially opened with a spectacular ceremony attended by royalty, diplomats, and dignitaries from across Europe and the Middle East. The canal stretched roughly 193 kilometers, creating a direct maritime link between the Mediterranean and Red Seas. Ships no longer needed to travel around Africa. Suddenly, the journey between Europe and Asia became dramatically shorter, reducing travel times by weeks and transforming international trade forever. The world celebrated what many considered one of humanity's greatest engineering achievements. But beneath the celebrations, a new battle was beginning. The canal quickly became one of the most valuable assets on Earth. Recognizing its strategic importance, the British Empire moved aggressively to gain control. In 1875, financial troubles forced Egypt to sell its shares in the canal, and Britain eagerly purchased them. Soon afterward, British influence over Egypt grew stronger, eventually leading to military occupation. The canal became the lifeline of the British Empire, connecting Britain to India and its vast colonial territories. Whoever controlled the canal could influence global commerce, military movements, and international politics. As the 20th century arrived, the Suez Canal became increasingly central to world events. During both world wars, it served as a critical supply route for Allied forces. Protecting the canal became a top military priority because losing it could disrupt vital shipments of oil, troops, and resources. The canal's strategic importance transformed Egypt into a geopolitical crossroads where the interests of global powers constantly collided. Every major nation understood that control over this narrow waterway could influence the balance of power across continents. Then came one of the most dramatic moments in the canal's history. In 1956, Egyptian President Gamal Abdel Nasser made a bold and shocking announcement. Egypt would nationalize the Suez Canal. Revenue from the canal would help fund the construction of the massive Aswan High Dam. Britain and France were furious, viewing the canal as essential to their interests. Together with Israel, they launched a military operation to seize control. What followed became known as the Suez Crisis. Yet something unexpected happened. The United States and the Soviet Union, despite being Cold War rivals, both opposed the invasion. Under intense international pressure, the invading forces withdrew, marking a major turning point in global politics and signaling the decline of traditional European colonial power. The canal would continue to face challenges. It was closed for years following conflicts between Egypt and Israel, creating major disruptions to global shipping. During these closures, ships once again had to travel around Africa, increasing costs and slowing international trade. Yet each time, the canal reopened and resumed its role as one of the world's most important maritime arteries. Technological upgrades, expansions, and modernization projects ensured that increasingly massive cargo ships could continue using the route. Then, in March 2021, the world received a dramatic reminder of just how important the Suez Canal had become. A giant container ship called the Ever Given became wedged sideways across the canal during a sandstorm. What seemed like a simple accident quickly turned into a global crisis. Hundreds of ships became trapped at both ends of the canal. Supply chains were disrupted, oil prices fluctuated, and businesses worldwide faced delays. Every day the blockage continued, billions of dollars in trade were affected. For nearly a week, the entire world watched as engineers struggled to free a single ship from a narrow channel in the desert. Ever Given incident revealed a powerful truth. Despite satellites, airplanes, digital technology, and modern logistics networks, global trade still depends heavily on physical choke points. Nearly 12% of global trade passes through the Suez Canal. From electronics and automobiles to food and energy supplies, countless products rely on this route. A disruption lasting only a few days can send shockwaves across the global economy, affecting consumers thousands of miles away who have never even heard of the canal. So, what is the answer to our opening question? How can one narrow strip of water hold such immense power over the world? The answer lies in geography. The Suez Canal is far more than a canal. It is a strategic gateway connecting continents, economies, and nations. For over 150 years, it has shortened journeys, fueled economic growth, triggered international crises, and shaped the course of history. From ancient dreams and deadly construction efforts to imperial rivalries, wars, and modern shipping disasters, the Suez Canal remains one of humanity's most influential creations. And as global trade continues to grow, this desert waterway will likely remain at the center of world affairs for generations to come. The next time you see a cargo ship crossing the canal, remember that you're not just looking at a shipping route, you're looking at one of the most powerful crossroads in human history.